Good afternoon, folks. Indy truck Davy out the truck and at home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is a cold November day. It's Armistice Day. And it's sunny and it's 7 degrees. That's the weather forecast for Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like, look out your rain one day. Now, what brings Davy to your screens today on Armistice Day? A day that the bent, corrupt, stupid British state has said there's no a day to call for peace. Well, what brings Davy to your screens today is a wee video that I'm about to put up, courtesy of the Guardian newspaper. And this wee video shows us exactly what the evil one, Sunak Braverman, has unleashed. And then we'll get to the question of why did the Home Secretary, the person who's supposed to encourage social cohesion, stir up hate and stir up unrest and send out dog whistles to the extreme far right to come and defend the cenotaph. We know what the extreme far right would get up to if the leash was taken off. And then we'll talk about Rishi Sunak's involvement in this as well. So let's put the video up and see what Miss Braverman has unleashed on the streets of London, deliberately. Was there much to the video? There'll be more footage being released later. I'm not going to cover it. But why did Sunak Braverman brand peaceful protest demanding a ceasefire as hate marches and hate speech? Why did Sunak Braverman pressurise the Met Chief Commissioner or Chief Officer to ban the protest on Armistice Day, the perfect day to call for a ceasefire? Well, why did Sunak Braverman, the Home Secretary, whose job it is to protect the people and promote social inclusiveness, set the header on fire? Sorry about that, folks. Internet problem. It would appear that people don't want me saying this. Anyway, what is Rishi Sunak's involvement, and why did Braverman incite this trouble, and should she be arrested for it? Well, it's because the West's embarrassed itself in encouraging a genocide or supporting a genocide in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip. That's why. But the people weren't having it. So the people were out demanding that the politicians demand a ceasefire. So what did the politicians do? They sent out dog whistles to the far right and called the peace marchers hateful marches. Apparently we all hate the Jewish people. No, we don't. We hate the actions of the to the Israeli government. Two different things. Not to be conflated with the other. One not to be conflated with the other. But why did they do it? The trouble of the day is going to allow them to clamp down further on protest because they know more protests coming. In fact, civil unrest is coming, especially in England. And they're going to turn on the Welsh, the Scots and the Irish as they run out of people to blame for their stupid actions. And the hate that you just seen for that far-right mob down there, Britain first in the English Defence League, that's going to spread as poverty gets worse and worse and worse. So it is. But what Braverman did was incite the trouble that we're seeing in London today in order for them to be able to crush public protest. Fortunately for us, most of these laws don't apply in Scotland. They'll somehow try and make them apply in Scotland. They'll even ship the far right round these islands to stir up trouble. You can bet your boots on that. Now, what was Sunak's involvement in all this? Very funny. Sunak has a meeting with Elon Musk, and a couple of days later, Tommy Robertson or whatever he calls himself, he got his Twitter account back. He got his platform back on Twitter, intact. All the loon balls still there. That's Sunak's involvement. The end of Davy Sunak, can he prove it? But there's a wee timeline there. Sunak meets Musk. Braverman stirs up hate. And one of the chief architects of race hate down that road, all of a sudden has his social media platform back. And now we see what's happening in London today. It's not the peaceful protesters demanding a ceasefire who are causing trouble. They're a couple of miles away. A couple of miles is no far, but if they want to let them through. And what I can see there, with the way the police were being forced back behind the barriers, if that mob want to get to the peaceful protesters, they'll get there. And this can all be laid at the door of an incompetent and corrupt Western system. We're not going to isolate it here. The only one that's talking any sense at the moment is Macron. And that might have something to do with the fact that the French have provided the most medical aid to Palestine and the Palestinian people. But at this point in time, the West has lost its way. Israel is the unruly child in the room, and it needs pulled up by everybody. And it's not happening. It's not happening because certain permanent members of the United Nations Security Council keep vetoing ceasefire demands. There's something not right here. 4,000 children dead and counting. That's only the ones we're able to identify. This isn't a defence. But that shower of shite down that road, including Starmer, know they've got this called morally wrong, and they're using the press and dog whistles to hide behind. There should be a vote in that parliament down that road, a free vote, where people can vote on their conscience to decide the policy of the UK. The majority of the people on these islands want a ceasefire. The Welsh Senate has just called for a ceasefire. They've had a vote on it. I expect the Scottish Parliament will be having a vote on it shortly, but as we already know, the First Minister of Scotland's stance has been quite clear from the start. This is wrong. ceasefire, immediate ceasefire. When you're an occupier, you can't be a defender. And people like Starmer, who's a human rights lawyer, knows this. Braverman, who's a lawyer, knows this. The UK government is nothing more than a vassal state to the USA. And they won't do or say anything that contradicts the USA. But the question is, should Braverman go to jail for inciting this trouble today? She knew what she was doing. As I say, the bit about Sunak meeting Musk and all of a sudden the far right lunatic Tommy Robertson has his X account or Twitter account, whatever you want to call it, back just in time for this crap to happen. Wow. Wonder how many homeless people get their head kicked in London the day with these mob, as well as trying to get peaceful protesters demanding a ceasefire on Armistice Day. I can't think of a more appropriate time to call for a ceasefire. I just can't. The day when a ceasefire was called is the day to call for a ceasefire. The fact that the UK government have tried to turn that into some sort of front to call for a ceasefire on Armistice Day. And what's this Remembrance Weekend pish all about? I don't remember there ever being a Remembrance Weekend. Yep, there's days when Armistice Day falls on a Friday, but it's always Sunday. The Remembrance is always a Sunday, the day is Sunday too. Yep, you will get your 2 minutes silence on the actual day, but the Remembrance is always done on the Sunday. I don't know what this is all about. But leave a comment on whether you think Braverman should be going to jail for this. Because they know what they were doing. And the reason behind it, they're fascists and they're becoming more authoritarian each day. And what's happening this weekend will definitely give them the incentive to bring their jackboots down on legitimate protest down that road. Legitimate protest down that road's over. Over. Done. Fascism has won. And fascism has set up the circumstances to win. But, you know, they say you get what you voted for. Guess what? We in Scotland didn't fucking vote for us. Thankfully, your law isn't our law. So we will continue our peaceful protests. And our police will police them properly, without coming under pressure from politicians who are angling to become the next leader of the far right down that road. Anyway, that's what brings Davy to your screen today. I hope you found what I had to say in this situation interesting. I hope you found it informative. If you liked this, please, if you're on YouTube, give it a like. If you're on Facebook, like and share. Thanks very much, folks. This is going to have consequences, and the people of England are not going to like the consequences of the trouble that's been stirred up.